After an incident that I had with the police, I decided that it would be a good idea to always have a dash cam. And for a while, I used my GoPro, but that was kind of cumbersome. So I went online and found a cheap HD dash cam. There's nothing special about this, but it does the job. I am not, however, a fan of this wire that dangles down to the cigarette lighter. So I'm going to figure out a way to wire this behind the dash such that it is not in the way when I shift, reach for the radio, and do other things in the car. It's quite a long length, so I may be able to use this for what I want to do. The best I could tell, this model dash cam has been out for at least 4 or 5 years. I don't know of many things that still use a mini USB, but this is what provides power to the dash cam. And it gets it from the cigarette lighter. It gets 12 volts to this, and there's something in here that converts it to what I think is 5 volts to charge the battery and power the camera. So what I am going to try to do is open this up and connect it to a 12 volt source that is behind the cigarette lighter. And this being a mini USB cable, if I ruin it, I can just go online and order a new cable. So what I need to do now is open this and see what wires connect to the contacts that are on this adapter. But first, I need to know which contact is positive and which is negative. So I'm going to measure the voltage coming out of the cigarette lighter while the key is in the on or accessory position. I have the key in and on now. So I'm going to put one lead directly in the center and the other on the edge, and it is reading positive 12 volts. So what that means is this is positive and this is negative or ground. So when I take it apart, I'll know which wires to connect where. So the input can be anywhere from 12 to 24 volts. So let's see how to crack this thing open. So these connect to negative, and it looks like this connects to positive. This is very simple. So funny enough, only one of these actually connected to negative or ground. So this is actually pretty straightforward. I need to connect this to 12 volts and this to ground or negative. And I think what I'm going to do is desolder this and this and put in wires with some spade terminals and connect them somehow to the back of the cigarette lighter. And that'll leave my cigarette lighter free, but connect this to where the power comes when you turn the key on, and the dash cam should come on. So what I am going to attempt to do is desolder this and this and use some wire I had lying around to make some leads to come off of it so that I can connect it to the 12 volt source. All right, easy enough. So I'm going to strip this wire back and hopefully get a little more and hopefully solder it in place. All right. This may be too thick to fit in there. It just might be. I think it'll fit. I just need to get some of the solder out. This is a desolderer. I like to call it a solder sucker. So now you can see the hole. All right, let's see if I can get it in there now. All right, so I did get it in. All right, let's see if, I do not need solder this thick, but this is all I have. So let's see if I can get it to work. All right, now for the positive. Be nice if I had some flux and some helping hands, but it's all I have on hand, and I think that will do the job. So now I just need to connect some leads and see if it works. As a quick reality check, I hooked up some test leads to the battery and being careful not to let them contact anything, and we have power. So I'm convinced that it'll work. Now I just have to make a nice package. So now I'm going to try to get at the connections on the back of this. So that means I have to take out this portion of the console. More soda. Sheep. Okay, that should be all I need to do to get to where I need to be. This is the positive, and this is the negative. Now I have to figure out how I want to tap into it. They have these piggyback spade connections that I don't think I have, so I may get creative. All right, I think I have a plan of action. It looks like I can disconnect this entire section and take it over to the workbench. So that's what I am going to do. When I pulled the connector off of this, the insulation stayed, but the tail end came off. I don't know if that is the way it was intended to be. So I may do something different with that as well. So I got the insulation for the terminal off of the cigarette lighter, and I see how it was connected. And I know that's not the way it came from the factory, but after putting it on and seeing the connection, it actually works pretty well. So I'm tempted to go ahead and leave it that way. I still need to figure out how I'm going to tap into the positive and negative. So I think I have a plan. Now that I know this works, I'm going to go ahead and cut off this LED because it's going to be covered and hidden anyway. And I'm going to put some heat shrink over this whole section. And I don't need the LED showing me that it's getting power because I can use the camera for that. Maybe I'll use this LED for something later. No! So I soldered those wires back to the board, and now I'm going to add this to hold this rubber part to the board for a little bit of strain relief. Alright, so that should keep that secure enough while I mount it, and hopefully indefinitely while it's in use. And I have some heat shrink that I'm going to use to put over the entire circuit. This may be too big, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Alright, so I am going to slide it over Let's see. Got my heat gun. And that doesn't quite do what I was hoping. So I ended up just taping the ends of the shrink wrap to the conductors coming out. So now I just have to go see how much length I need to make it to the back side of the cigarette lighter. Since I don't want to wait for the piggyback terminals, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a 3-pronged connector with a female and 2 coming out, with a male here and 2 coming out here, and a female here and 2 coming out there, so that I can connect the original connection as well as a new one for the dash cam. So I don't need much length. Let's see. I'll cut 2 like this for the positive side. Alright, so this needs to be a male. Now I'll crimp these. So this will connect there, and I have to make a female for the negative. All right, one for the positive, one for the negative. Since this has to go into the positive, I'm going to make one of these a female, and since this needs to go to the negative, I'm going to make one of these a male. All right, so all that is left is to figure out what I want these to be, and they can be anything. So, you know what, if I was thinking about it, I would have put them directly into there like that, and I'd be done. But this will leave me options for the future if I change this or get a different dash cam. So I think that will do it. Stock connections, new connections. All right, that's it. Now we can just put the stuff back in the car. All right, so everything goes the way it should. This should plug into here, and this should plug into here. And this should plug into here. And this should plug into here. Now plug in the dash cam to those. And of course, I can reposition this LED. All right, let's go to the car. I need to admit, I didn't think about routing the wires as much as I did how I was going to get power to it. But I'm going to bring the wire up into here, snake it along here, go down here, and then I'll be home free under the dash. All right, that was the way to get it off. So I started up here where I could get my fingers in, and then it should, yeah, there's just fasteners all the way down, and that is what I'll use to snake it to beneath the dash. All right, so here it is. Now it's still connected back here, but I was able to free enough of it such that I'll have access in here. And these fasteners here, here, and here go back into these slots on the A-pillar there. And these hooks, I see 2 of them. one here, and there, they'll lip back over this piece. So now let's see if we can route the wire. So what I'm going to do is make this sort of taut. And work it behind the dash. So now this section is under the dash, and this is hidden beyond that there. So now I can just pull the length of cable that I need on this end all the way through to the camera. And once I pulled the length I needed through to the camera, I plugged it in, and now I can just tuck it all the way over to the corner. All right, so now it's tucked all the way to the corner. So now I just have to hide it behind this. As you can see, it'll follow it, and I hide it behind this, and then I can go over to the power connections. All right, I'm lining up all the fasteners. Making sure this rubber is on the outside of the plastic. Come on now. Like nothing ever happened. So now I'm left with the rest of the wire, which I have plenty that I can route behind here. I'll route it between the yellow wire and where it's connected, so it holds it up. And when I come back through, after everything's hooked up, I'll find a good spot to zip tie it off so that it's nicely tucked away. But we're almost done. All right, so these terminals just need to come out somewhere over here. Herb-a-derb. All right, let's hook everything up. So that is a lot better. And if I ever do upgrade the camera, it'll be an easy swap because I already have the provisions to power it from down there. So the new setup has been in the car for about a week, and I am enjoying it. It's almost an afterthought that it's there, and that's what I wanted. So everything is working as it should be, and I'll be doing something similar for the Golf, but since the cigarette lighter is not triggered by turning the key, I'll have to do it a different way. If you'd like to see how I tackle all the other tasks on my EJ1 Civic, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.